But every time, I feel like there's just another punch to it, another one that really hits you in the feels, as we like to say. I mean, Aloha Dan saying, I mean, to him, this is actually a very personal matter. It's not simply a matter of pride or ego or just wanting to prove that he's good, but it holds a lot more meaning just to him and his family. And I think, again, you can't really belittle anyone's motivations to come to TI and want to duel. Everyone's got a very solid reason or motivation to do so, the drive that gets them there, and hopefully we do see at least a much better showing from Team Empire regardless of result in this Game 2 versus EG. As you just caught a glimpse of it, the draft is already underway, and Undying coming out as a pick for Empire has slipped through now and then throughout the day, but this time turning out to be a first pick.
Not entirely unsurprising to see Queen of Pain again picked up first for EG. And again, the Disruptor ban out as well. I do like the Undying on Empire, though. It might force them more to fight. It doesn't allow them to try and be passive or to try and play for late game, so to speak, as they did last game in the end. So maybe this is the push they need to get that ball rolling.
I was actually, your exact choice of words is what I was thinking. They're forcing themselves to fight. That's what it seems like. Undying Bloodseeker first. You can't really just get too comfortable with just sitting back and letting the game just play out, right? So I don't know if they felt like there was a puzzle piece missing in the last game to being able to push. In my opinion, there wasn't. I think they had a really good hero composition and they got the start they needed. But maybe just for the sake of their own confidence, just making it even more obvious how the lineup needs to be played for them, and just really, in my opinion, going back to their roots. I think one of the heroes that really brought Empire to the top of Western Dota was Undying. They are exceptionally good at playing around this hero. It really sets the tone of the fights very early in the game.
Why not Bounty Hunter?
Instead of Bloodseeker? Or?
Instead of either of those. I think probably Bloodseeker I would.
That's a good question, man. Why not?
Do you have an answer, Ben?
Maybe they want to have the silence for Queen of Pain. I mean,
yeah,
it's very unreliable, though.
It is, and Rupture's not
Rupture,
that great against either of those heroes. I think Bloodseeker has been very hit or miss. I would venture to say the win rate is probably a little bit below 50%, but I don't think it's a hero that you can pick in the first phase. Especially, it kind of forces you to fight, but some people try and take it late game with like BKB and SNY, and I think it does scale decently. But I think that Bounty Hunter is much better for.
Is there a slight difference in attitude though when you're playing Bounty Hunter and Bloodseeker? As in, Bounty Hunter definitely more geared towards just getting those early game picks, whereas Bloodseeker, like even throughout the late game, you're just looking to fight and run it alongside your teammates, or even alone.
I think more for Empire right now, to be honest, is. The thing is, they've tried they've tried a Bounty Hunter, I think, a couple times, and maybe they just feel like it wasn't successful enough. So it's not that it's a bad pick. It's okay against Queen of Pain. You know, neither Undying nor Bounty Hunter really has a way of running down and killing Quap, which Bloodseeker has. So maybe that's the idea, that we have a way of actually not letting her reset 2 or 3 times to come in with Blink Screen, but we actually really finish the job in the fight.
It also could be because EG could just respond with the Spirit Breaker pick, and they showed that they were very
entirely
good
possible
yesterday.
as well. Yes. And Bloodseeker is good in turn against that hero as well. So that might be what they were considering. Now, speaking of those two heroes, they've actually been banned, both of them, but by the opposite team, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, Bounty Hunter by Empire, Spirit Breaker by EG. And Storm this time just go through, and as you were mentioning, Ben, I mean, Storm also pretty darn good against Bloodseeker, and of course, Storm, we saw that earlier today. Nothing to scoff at.
I'm kind of surprised to see them picking Queen of Pain and Storm in the first 2 picks, because it gives a few a lot of way about what they're planning on doing, and perhaps allows Empire to counter them a bit more.
At the same time, I think these two heroes play very well against Empire, who need to fight early and want to fight early. If they have Queen of Pain and Storm Spirit, they can just disengage and run away from the Tombstone, and then just... without Tombstone, you really don't want to push a tower for at least 1 more minute. So I think that they're looking for heroes that can disengage, especially when they're really disable light.
Now, with the Lina pick, I mean, Empire, sounds like they're really just kind of forcing themselves into their last 2 picks, where they need also more setup to continue with these fights. What do you guys think about that?
Setup is definitely needed here. Lina can, to an extent, take care of it herself by getting Yules, but it's not enough, and it's not reliable enough, especially because when you look at EG, the 2 heroes they have, what they can choose to do is, both of them, or at least one of them, can get an Orchid if they want to. I would expect EG in this particular game to get an Orchid in either of them. it's a great counterplay to Lina. If she yules someone and wants to go for the kill, both of them can very easily like access her with an Orchid, with either Blink Orchid or Ball Lightning Orchid, and just shut her down very nicely. They also have the Shaker now, a defensive support too. Once again, you can do kind of the same thing. Try to go for the kills, try to go for the fight. You just block them off and just buy time. What I'm worried about for Empire, we've obviously only seen three picks right now. If you saw the shot of them, Resolution looked pretty frustrated the way he was sitting back. I don't think they're in high spirits, which is to be expected, but they seem perhaps a little more annoyed by this than maybe they should be. So I'm worried that they will just be like, screw it, we're going all in on fighting, and then they lose sight of, again, the big picture, ending the game. They could end up in a similar situation to what we're seeing MVP Hot 6 in a couple of games, where they pick like ridiculous amounts of spell burst in early game, and then even should they play that early game well, it's not about the kill score. It's about finishing.
But I think at least even if they win the early game, let's say, and then lose out in the late game, I think it will be better for their spirits. It's like, oh, okay, at least we had a really good start and we had a good chance, as opposed to last game where it just felt like everything was slowly crumbling and ending for them. I mean, morale is going to be important for Team Empire, probably far more so than for other teams, and at least getting off to a good start and be like, oh, okay, we can do this, guys. We're up ahead by 10 kills. We're pushing down towers. I think that can do a lot for them.
Yeah, I fully agree. I mean, you mentioned it half earlier. You didn't want to call them emotional players, but I mean, they kind of are. They're also fairly young players as well. And I think if they have a good early game, yeah, they'll do a lot better. Even if they might not end up winning, I think that will be good for games to come, because for them, I think this game's, I mean, for them, still a chance to get in top 4, right? Yeah.
Technically, yes.
Technically, yeah. So they got to keep that momentum going if they can find it first, of course.
What I'm interested in is, so one thing that's obviously very easy for us from a spectator standpoint every single time we cast a game or observe a game or whatnot is to see where the game is going, right? Because we have graphs we can check the graphs, we can see the farm values. Maybe Empire is the kind of team that when they analyze the game and they look at it, they maybe sometimes read too much into the kill score. And in the last game, maybe they felt like, so if they could see the graphs, if they could see the items and the farm values and what actually was there, imagine they could like pause the game and look at everything for 2 minutes. I think they would have played the game very differently. But their feeling in the game of where it's going might have been very different from how it actually was. And perhaps they are a very momentum-driven team. So if they get ahead on kills, they might really start playing like they're ahead. Whereas if they have like this kind of slow early game, even if they take towers, in the last game, once again, I didn't really feel like they never played like a team that was trying to win.
Okay.
So,
or a team that knew they were ahead in that case.
Right.
And the thing is, they weren't technically very much ahead on the graphs, but I feel like in terms of game impact, they had like 5 minutes where they could have just dominated the whole map if they realized it. So
Makes sense.
who knows?
Now, Shadow Demon coming out in some time, and the Bane too. I mean, we've seen Bane banned a lot today. Not picked as much, of course, due to being banned out, but being picked for Empire. So I was a little concerned. I was wondering if Dazzle was going to be another concern for Empire. Maybe they'll fall into that trap of picking that Dazzle again, not have any setup for their teammates, but picking that Bane instead of the Dazzle.
How big is the chance of and don't crush my hopes instantly here, for Bane Mirana?
Non-existent.
Damn. Really was,
It could actually happen. I mean, once again, if their idea is we're really just looking to fight now and we want to gank really early and put pressure on the map, they could play on Dying as core, Bloodseeker's core, and Lina's core. So that is entirely possible.
It's too risky versus EG's lineup. The way they drafted, it's like versus Earthshaker and Shadow Demon, you can't commit on one hero. You
At
have
the same
to both
time,
go through AoE.
if you have a Shadow Demon that's putting a defensive disruption on, you can use that also as a setup for an arrow.
I do like the concept. It's just EG's game plan, I would say, when they had the Sand King. It's like, okay, we're going to, farm up, play defensively, and if we have to hold, we have the heroes to do it. Like Earthshaker with Fissure, Shadow Poison with his, with his Shadow Poison, and then, like, the Queen of Pain and Storm Spirit are just very good at split pushing and pressuring the enemy to either, stop the push or, commit too heavily and go too deep, which I think Empire might be a little bit prone to in this particular situation, or all in on a hero, like Rupture plus Grip plus Laguna Blade, which Earthshaker, again, Shadow Demon are really good at defending against.
I really like this ban from EG. This was the pick that came to mind for me that Empire could have gone for to try to knock down some towers and take advantage of their Undying. Early mech carrier, hits hard on towers with Nether Toxin, and just peaks very early together with the rest of their lineup. I think Viper would have been a really good pick for them, and then play the Lina on support. It's not available now. It's also, in my opinion, a good pick for Resolution. It's a good matchup against Quab, it's a good matchup against Storm, and Resolution is really good at playing lane. So they could have definitely gone for that. Instead, they're going to go for Dragon Knight. This is another alternative way of forcing yourself to knock down towers. Good with Tombstone. You drop the Tombstone, you go in and hit the tower, and it's on the enemy team to engage into you, where they're engaging into Tombstone Bloodright, which is pretty difficult to do. So I think this is a solid pick. They need to be careful that it doesn't end up like last game, though, where Resolution gets first blooded really early in lane. They cannot afford to have that happen.
Yeah, I like this pick a lot. I was thinking something like Pugna, perhaps, but you want the team to have to fight into Tombstone. If you don't have something to hold them in place, like Dream Coil or anything like that, then I think just killing their towers is one of the best ways. And again, I think they're pushing themselves into this sort of mentality where we have one of the best lineups at taking down towers in 5-manning, and if the opponent teams fights into us, they're going to lose a fight. So it's more of that like kind of pick and roll lineup from EG, delay until your timing is right and slow down their tower pushes. And one way they can do that is winning the lanes really hard.
All right, well, clock rounding out the draft here for Evil Geniuses. So both teams now with the finalized draft. I mean, just on Empire side, you guys seem pretty content, at least, just that they've changed things up a little. They've forced themselves to really focus on that objective focus on the objectives in game, excuse me. But for EG, how is their draft looking in comparison?
They have, I think especially the Shadow Demon could actually turn out to be a really big pick in this game. It's a great counter to Bane. It's a great counter to Dragon Tail. It's even a great counter to Lina's combo. Like, they have a lot of ways of disrupting the fights. I think that's also the idea of their last pick, Clockwork. It's just they want to try to play split push and pickoffs, and then should it come to a fight, it's all about just trying to single out targets and just counterplay the opponent. And Universe in this game, I think, has a very, very important role on the clock, because when it comes to defending the towers, his hookshot is their primary initiation. They also have a Storm Spirit, but as Storm